Hello YouTube and welcome back to my channel. My DJI has just been having a hissy fit, or our DJI I should say, because me and Nathan share it and I'm thinking, why does it keep making this like weird noise? It was like it was taking a picture and I was like, I've never even like realised it does this before. Anyways, I'm there Googling all these like error codes. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Cut a long story short, I've then realised I've got on the actual album that Nathan's been taking a picture for like his YouTube thumbnail using the DJI. I didn't even know it was a camera, I just thought it was what you use to video. That's how much of a technophobe I am. So yeah, the reason why it wasn't working, it wasn't filming, it was because it wasn't on the camera, like the video setting, it was on the camera setting, but hey ho, anyways, we are here. Today's YouTube is going to be a little bit more of an educational one. I've got a really good YouTube next week, guys, because my client Ellie is competing. So I was like, I'll take you behind the scenes, I'll take you down to Birmingham with us. Obviously, it's my first client that I've had getting on stage, so obviously it is really meaningful to me, and with Ellie as well, because I've coached Ellie now, I think about 3 years. It's at least 2.5 years, but I think it might be 3 years in November actually, so probably is around 2.5 years. But because she's gone like the full journey, she's gone from literal like just a lifestyle client, we've pushed her to do a photo shoot. She did one photo shoot, didn't really push herself that hard, then she wanted to push herself to that next level, then it's kind of gone to like where she wants to compete. It just means a lot to me, do you get what I mean? Because it's like someone that's genuinely gone through like a full journey. So it's like just a nice little cherry on top next week going, obviously getting on stage. I'm just going to take my shoes off as I'm recording this. So I'm so looking forward to obviously, seeing her on stage. So we're doing the PCA first timers next week, which is at Birmingham Town Hall. Just taking my bloody trainer off, guys. And then the 2 weeks later, we've then got the, I always get it wrong, what is it, UK BD or DBFA? It's basically the drug-free bodybuilding federation. So obviously it's a natural federation, which to be fair is a lot better because obviously Ellie's a natural competitor. Even in bikini nowadays, obviously we know there's a lot of girls who are assisted, which there's nothing wrong with, there's no shade on them, but obviously if you're competing against someone assisted, it is a little bit more challenging in the sense of like, not an unfair advantage, but you get the gist. Like obviously, you want to be competing a level playing field. So that's in 2 weeks time. So I'm really looking forward to that. So I will take you along with me next week when we go down to Birmingham. We've done Nottingham, obviously on Tuesday for a client's photo shoot this week. Nathan went down to Northampton to do a podcast with his coach, Joe Jeffrey, yesterday. So we went down to Northampton, which is like beyond Nottingham, and then tonight we're going back to Nottingham again because Nathan and Ali, they run an education course together and they've got a seminar at Bailey's studio tomorrow in Nottingham. So it's a fucking chaotic week. Chaotic 2 weeks, to be honest. Like next week I've got my best friend's wedding, one of my best friends, Maddie, that's on Friday, and then I've got bloody Ellie competing on Saturday, so it's very, very busy. But today, guys, I wanted to do a YouTube vlog on why most women stay stuck and they never actually achieve the results in which they want to achieve. And I suppose kind of talking about Ellie's journey, this kind of relates to this a little bit as well, in the sense of, it's something I see quite a lot, this. I get so many women coming to us at Bespoke who have trained for years, they've done a lot of the right things, shall we say. They eat healthily. It's not as though like they're completely naive. They're just essentially not getting the results in which they want. And there's often a lot of reasons for this, right? A lot of clients like to tell themselves they know what to do, and that's not me being like patronising, but a lot of people I think do, because nowadays obviously there's so much on social media, like, on TikTok, on Instagram, there's coaches left, right and centre. Like somebody literally does a bodybuilding show and qualifies as a coach. Like people just genuinely think they can get into coaching just because they love the gym, they love training. So like there's so much online what people then kind of like buy into, should we say, where, they're just reading stuff basically and absorbing stuff that it's not always the right thing. So a lot of people think they know a lot, but it's technically not, it's just surface level stuff. So that's the first thing. I think, everyone has got a good baseline understanding now, and especially with the likes of like ChatGPT, like you can just jump on there now and get some baseline answers. So I think a lot of people kind of feed themselves that narrative of I know what to do, but I just can't get results. It's like, well, if that was the case and you really did know what to do, like surely you'd have the results in which you actually want, and I think sometimes maybe it's like an embarrassment thing, or maybe it's just a case of people think they should know what they're doing. And I just I always say this to clients on calls who have this kind of narrative, because I'm like, I have a coach still to this day, I've been training now for nearly 10 years, like actual training. And I still have a coach to this day. So why do you think, obviously, a couple of years into your journey that you shouldn't have a coach? Like, you're not gonna, and you're not meant to have all the answers. You know, it's actually such a smart move to get someone in your corner to kind of talk you through and guide you through the process, because then it's one less job that you then need to think about, you know? So I think maybe just kind of letting the ego go a little bit. Because I think when people are a couple of years into the journey, sometimes it is a bit more of an ego thing. It's like, oh, I should know, like, you know, such a body has got great results by doing it herself. And that's not always the case. You know, you've got to remember, some people have great genetics. You have no consideration. I always use the example with clients of like, if I get a client who comes in who's got like years of experience of playing sport and they've got quite a lot of muscle, well, that client, when they've got lean for the first time, they might look really good. But if you've never actually intentionally spent time building muscle, why would you automatically think that when you diet down, you're going to have loads of muscle? You know, it just makes no sense. So that kind of feeds me on to that next point, really, of, you know, the reason why so many people typically really, really struggle when it comes to achieving the results in which they want. They never fully commit to the phasing, right? So remember the dieting phase. Dieting serves a purpose, and that's it, right? So dieting serves the purpose of getting lean, priming your body to then build muscle tissue, right? Muscle is indicative of health, and a lot of people say like, oh, I don't want to build muscle, or, you know, and I often feel like with this sometimes, you do want to build muscle. Your narrative of building muscle is just quite skewed. You automatically think because you build muscle, you're going to get really bulky and really big and you're going to look really, really jacked. And that's not the case. It's just a lack of education where you think, you know, having loads of muscle means like you're massive, and that's not, you know, look at me as an example. I'm a really petite female who will intentionally try and build muscle, and I still don't look that big, you know. Everyone's muscle building capability is slightly different, everyone's genetics is slightly different, you know, but, you know, I think the big thing to always remember is you've got to fully commit to every single phase. So many women are like, oh, I don't really want to push myself in my dieting phase, I don't want to look skinny. Well, you will look skinny because you've not got a lot of muscle, but you've got to go through that process, prime your body, get lean, and your body's in a perfect position then to build. You know, what happens is people don't go all in with dieting, then they want to bring the calories up and obviously start building. Then they don't actually go all in with building either, so then they start getting a bit sloppy. So especially with building, the biggest mistakes people make is the habits that they had in fat loss, they automatically just lose it in the building phase. You know, like what they was doing every single day in fat loss, which got them success, was like the routine, the consistency, sticking to similar meals, being organised with the training, you know, like just considering pre and post workout nutrition, you know, not getting sloppy at the weekends, all the stuff that's really important. Those things do need to be carried into your improvement phase as well. And if you're someone that's like really, really sloppy when it comes to building muscle, you know, it's happened loads with clients. Like, you'll get a client lean and obviously you'll talk through the entire process about this is what you need to do after your dieting phase, this is why it's so important. And obviously for a lot of people, because they have been restricted for the first period of time in their entire life, as soon as then they've got exposure to more food and that kind of restriction of I'm not dieting anymore is kind of lifted, then obviously they then start thinking, well, it's okay just to say yes to this a little bit more. Then before you know it, obviously they start gaining body fat a little bit too quickly, and what happens, the body's a lot more insulin resistant. They're not responding the same, they're carrying more body fat, they start feeling uncomfortable. So what does the client then want to do? They want to start dieting again. So they've not even been in their improvement phase long enough to actually see any substantial change before they then want to start dieting again. So it's really, really important, guys, that you actually you go through your phases properly. And like a lot of people, the reason why a lot of people struggle with this is because like, oh, it's just, you know, my fat loss is really restricted, then I went through an improvement phase and that's also really, really restrictive. Your mindset dictates everything, you know. I'm not saying to clients you can't have an off-plan meal every single week in your improvement phase, because you can. Go and have a date night. I will intentionally tell clients, go and have a date night every week with your partner, with your friend, your mum, your dad, whoever it is. But equally, you can't expect to stay in great shape and maintain a body that you're proud of and, you know, make great changes to body composition and eat out multiple days, eat junk food, replace your good quality food for on-the-go stuff all the time. Like, surely you don't think that's what's got you to the position where obviously your body is primed, ready to build, and surely you don't think that's the best strategy for you to build muscle moving forward, you know? Don't fall for the shit online, ladies, where people are saying you can just do what you want and get elite results. You can just eat what you want and dirty bulk. Like, you don't need to gain that much body fat in an improvement phase. All you are doing if you gain too much body fat is actually making the process harder. Now, obviously that's kind of very relative to the person where they finish the fat loss phase. Like, I'll use Ellie, my competitor, next week as an example. So Ellie's currently around 48 kilo at the minute. She's tiny, she's only about 5'1", 5'2". She's a midget, right? So she's probably stage lean roughly around like 47.5 kilo, okay? Now, if we put that into, you know, if we then think about, right, she's extremely stage lean, very lean, probably like 10% body fat around that bracket. She does need to gain probably around like 4 to 5 kilos to be within a healthier body fat range, probably around 4. She doesn't need to go and gain like 10 kilo of fat though. Like, she doesn't need to do that. All you're doing then, essentially, you've got to remember as a natural female, your muscle building capabilities are so slim. You know, I always say to clients like 0.25 to 0.5% increase of body weight each week in a surplus on average is kind of expected. But you don't want to be going up massive jumps. Some weeks it might hold for a little bit, then it might jump up a little bit. You know, we don't need to see massive jumps up every single week as a natural person, yeah? And I'll reinforce that again, as a natural person, because to build muscle naturally, like Ellie's condition last year when she got down to like probably similar condition to where she is now, she's up about 1 kilo, right? So she'll have probably gained maybe like 1 to 2 pounds of like muscle in that time frame. Again, I'll repeat that. 1 to 2 pounds of muscle over a 12-month period, okay? So again, I'll repeat that one more time just so you can hear. 1 to 2 pounds, and we spent 9 months into 8 to 9 months actually intentionally building muscle with Ellie as a natural person. So please don't buy all that stuff online where people are, oh, you can just go and do this, you can add loads of muscle. Like, why would someone need to gain 10 kilos of fat to gain 1 kilo of muscle? It doesn't make any logical sense. So, and all that does, like I said, is that person then gets into that mindset where they're really unhappy, they're really self-conscious. Ellie's a bit different, she's a different breed, obviously, because she's a competitor now, but, you know, a lot of lifestyle clients, me especially, I like to stay comfortable year round, so I don't need to gain loads of additional excess body fat, okay? So, honestly, the biggest reason why so many women stay stuck though, it is genuinely that they don't take the phasing seriously. They don't follow the roadmap consistently. So many women think, after I've done fat loss, life is done. I've done what I need to do, fat loss is over. All you've done then is primed your body to where it needs to go. It needs to grow now. The body that most women want, they want that strong, tall, lean, athletic looking physique. In order for you to look leaner, you have to have more muscle, you know? And that's so important, guys, that women act. And that's my biggest life mission, to get women into that headspace where they want to build muscle. They're intentional about wanting to build muscle, and it's so important because for health, longevity, you know, aesthetics, everything, to build muscle is the biggest site of glucose disposal. Muscle is indicative of health. It's super important that the more muscle we have, the healthier of an individual that we are. You know, we want to reduce the risks of things like osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, super important. But going back to obviously the results in terms of aesthetics, obviously the reason why a lot of ladies come to us, remember ladies, the reason why so many of you struggle is because you're constantly losing and regaining the same like 10 to 15 pounds every year. If you're going into like a transformation this year, please take my advice on board. Actually learn how to lose body fat effectively. Don't fuck about in fat loss. Get fat loss done. You know, go at a good rate of loss. Don't be that person that's like trying to be super flexible in the dieting phase. Fat loss is a phase. It's not forever. Get the body fat off. Get your calories to maintenance. Get habits stabilized at maintenance, and then gradually go into that small surplus. Spend a period of time in a surplus. Learn how to build muscle effectively. Then you might mini cut and see what you've actually built in that improvement phase. Okay. But it's up to you how you kind of structure that improvement too. I've got some clients in terms of improvements that like to do like a 16-week push-up, you know, maybe like a 6 to 8 week mini cut, 16-week push-up again. You know, they're the ones that like to kind of, you know, I always find with lifestyle clients, you've got to kind of keep them on the toes a little bit, whereas actual clients that wanted to push more physique stuff like your photo shoot clients or your competitors, they're happy to be in improvement phase for like a prolonged period of time, like I am too. I love being in a long improvement phase. Like after this diet phase that I'm in right now, I've got 5 weeks now until shoot number 1, and then I've got 9 weeks until shoot number 2. After I've done that, obviously that'll finish roughly around, I think it's mid-July or beginning of July. Yeah, I think it's beginning of July. And then I'll sit at maintenance calories then up until like mid to end of August when I've got a wedding. And then I'm going into a surplus. So for me, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, someone's at the door. March, probably 7 months of growing. And then guess what, guys? It's going to be shredding for the wedding next year. So that's my plan of action. Notice how I'm always looking at, right, how long can I actually spend not dieting? How long can I spend putting my body in a really, really good position where it's not in this kind of like, you know, stressed dieting stage? Like, the majority of our year should be spent not dieting. It should be spent making changes, you know, building your shoulders, improving your posture, you know, building your glutes, building your core, whatever it is that you want to improve on. The majority of the year should be spent building. And the more muscle you have, that's the look that you want, guys. That strong, toned, athletic look. That's the look that you want. So don't do what a lot of clients do that come to us. You know, when they start out, obviously our job is to reframe what they've always done before. But so many women come to us having yo-yo dieted for years, yeah? Absolutely years. Our job is to get them to a point where they learn dieting's a phase. Get in, get out, get the body fat off, and actually learn how to build the physique that you actually want, okay? So if you are someone that wants to step up and actually achieve next level results, get to a point that you've never got to previously, have a consistent roadmap, guys. Actually learn how to roadmap your journey. And if you need help roadmapping your journey, just obviously drop me a DM on Instagram, or, you know, reach out off the back of my YouTube video. Yeah, you're probably better off dropping me a DM on Instagram at Beth_bespoke, and I can help you roadmap the journey for yourself as well, because the roadmap is the most important part. Knowing what phase you're in and when, actually seeing that long-term vision, practicing delayed gratification, actually changing and sculpting your physique and building your dream physique. It should be exciting. So many women resent the process of change. So many women hate that process. They hate going through a diet. They hate this, they hate that. And it's just because all they've done is diet their entire life. You know, if you get to a point like where I am, I can't wait to go into a dieting phase. I can't wait to go into a photo shoot prep. I'm so excited to go into an improvement phase. When you do it properly, it shouldn't feel like a massive chore. It should be exciting. You should be looking forward to that next part of your journey. So hopefully this makes sense, guys. If you are someone that does want to step your results up and you feel like you are constantly spinning your wheels, you've tried it on your own many, many times and you are getting nowhere or getting, you know, very limited results, and you need help to take things to that next level, complete the application form in the show notes, and I would be so happy to jump on a call, chat to you about your goal, actually take you through a roadmap, figure out where you are now and roadmap that process with you. I'd be so happy to do that. So again, complete the application form if you're interested in coaching. But like I said, have a roadmap, get stuck into your phases, lock in, do what's needed, and actually build the physique, guys. Dieting just reveals what muscle you've already got. For a lot of ladies that diet for the first time, they're not going to have a lot of muscle. And I promise you now, you cannot diet your way to your dream physique, because that's something I used to always think. I used to think, well, if I dieted harder, I'm going to look better. I actually look fucking worse, guys, because I had no muscle. So don't make the mistakes I once did, okay? But yeah, thank you so much for listening. I hope you've taken a lot of value from today's episode, or today's vlog, shall we say. I'm very excited to take you along with me next week to show you Ellie's show day. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.